Welcome everybody to a Khan Academy tutorial. We're going to be doing divide polynomials by linear expressions using a different method than one of my previous videos. We're going to be using synthetic division. Now, don't think synthetic division is some like far-fetched way of doing division. It's just a more organized, orderly, just cleaner way to do it. A lot of my students like it, so I just wanted to show you just because I think it's valuable. Now, the first thing we got to look at when we're doing synthetic division is we have to look at what we're dividing. This x minus 6. Now, the key to synthetic division is realizing what will make this denominator go to 0. And so it will be 6. Okay? 6 will make this go to 0. Let me show you what that looks like. Oops, my eraser. Okay. So if we say, my goodness. If we say add 6x6, we get x equals 6. This is going to be the thing that we're going to be using. Now, I'm not going to get into why synthetic division works. I just want to show you the basics of setting it up, etc. Okay? So this is the first thing we look for is what makes the denominator go to 0. You can set it equal to 0, solve for x. And then this is going to be the number that we are going to use to help us conduct our synthetic division, okay? Now, what do we do from here? Well, we're going to be writing the coefficients in descending order of all the numerators, okay? Make sure to include the negative signs if there's a negative, okay? So we're going to write negative 13, okay? We're going to write, I guess we'll use red. Let's see if we can do a different color. Let's go purple. Okay, we got purple plus 9. All we're doing is writing the coefficients. If it's a positive, you just write 9. You don't need to write plus 9. And then I guess we'll go yellow. And then minus 16. Okay, this one isn't a coefficient, it's a constant. Technically, it's a coefficient of x to the 0. But you just write the negative 16 at the end. So as you can see here, we wrote the coefficients of all the numbers in front. Now, something to note, if you're missing a term, like for example, if we didn't have this x squared right here, like so let's say that was gone, 2x cubed plus 9x. This is the same way it is with normal division. You have to create a filler there. You have to have something take the place of x squared. Notice how there's no x squared? We should have, if it starts with a x cubed, we have to have an x squared, an x to the first, and an x to the 0, which is your constant, all represented, okay? So if there's no x squared, you got to write 0, whoops, you got to write 0x squared to account for that, okay? In this case, this is, we don't have that problem, but I just wanted to make you aware in case you're like, oh, there's no problem like that. What do we do? Okay, so that's how you set this up. So the key is having that 6 there in the top right, and now we can get into the synthetic division. First step, okay, we're going to drop down the first number, okay? So we drop this first number down, and it becomes 2. Now, what do we do with this 6? This is the whole point. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply whatever we drop down here. So we're going to multiply the drop down by 6. We multiply by this little number up here. I don't know what you call it, the divisor. It has a special name, but I'm just going to call it by the box number, okay? So we're going to do 2 times 6, and we're going to put that result underneath. 2 times, let me make this red. 2 times 6. I'm writing it small so that we don't get confused. Okay, so we put 2 times 6, and that is 12. Okay? Now, what do we do from here? We don't just drop down like we did before. We're technically adding everything that is in a column, okay? So 2 plus 0 is just 2. Then we multiply that by the 6, 2 times 6, and we get 12. Then we're going to add this column. Negative 13 plus 12 gives me negative 1, okay? Let me write that in green, actually. Negative, gosh darn it, negative 1. Now we're going to do negative 1 times 6, okay? Every time we get to this bottom row, we're going to multiply it by the 6 and put it into the next one. So we're going to do negative 1 times 6, okay? In this case, we get negative 6, okay? Again, we're going to add. So we get 9 plus negative 6 gives me, get my purple out, positive 3. Then we're going to do 3 times 6. So for this one, we get equals 18. Then we do negative 16 plus 18. That gives me positive 2. Okay, what do we do with this bottom row now? This bottom row becomes our new coefficients. So we're going to have a 2, we're going to have a negative 1, we're going to have a 3, and we're going to have a 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to reduce, let's see if I can get a highlighter. Okay, we're going to reduce these x's by a degree and rewrite them next to our new coefficients here. Okay, so we're gonna reduce each one of those by a degree and rewrite them with our new coefficients. So it's gonna become 2x squared minus 1x. See how it went from 2x cubed to 2x squared? Minus 1x plus 3, okay, because there's no x now. It goes from x to the first to x to the 0, but you don't write x to the 0. You just, it's an implied, just not there. It's a constant. And then plus 2 over x minus 6. Now, once you get to x to the 0, whatever's after this becomes your remainder. So this is technically our remainder right here. So this is our remainder. Sorry, I'm using a highlighter. I just want it to look different. So that is our remainder. I think did I write reminder? No, remainder, okay? So whatever's left over after the constant, here's our constant, is our remainder, okay? So I just want you guys to be aware of that. So we're gonna go ahead and write our answer, 2x squared, okay, minus 1x, we can just write x minus x, plus 3, that's our constant, and then we have a remainder, so we're gonna need a fraction, plus fraction 2 over x minus 6. Now you always, for your remainder, you always put your, like, we had 3 as our last constant, right? We reduced all the factors by 1 degree. So it went from having an x to not having an x for purple. And then plus 2, that's our remainder, so we always put it over what we're dividing by. So we're dividing by x minus 6 in the original problem, so our remainder's got to be x minus 6 for our remainder. So we're going to check that, and we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and show the next one. This time we'll do it all the same color, so just get a little more comfortable with it. We'll go ahead and use purple. So we have first x plus 2. We need to find what number makes this go to 0. Minus 2, minus 2. So x equals negative 2. This is going to be our number that's in the box. Okay. Now we're going to write our coefficients. I lied. I'm going to use different color. So then we have 3. That's that 3. Then we have 1, positive 1, negative 4, and then positive 12. So we just write the 12. Okay, remember, I'm adding in each one of these columns. So each one of these columns, I'm doing addition after I multiply at the bottom by the negative 2. So I drop down the 3. Whoops, wanted to switch to the pen. I drop down the 3. I multiply that 3 times the negative 2, I get negative 6. Then I add 1 plus negative 6 gives me negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 2 gives me a positive 10. I wrote 16. Positive 10. Now I do negative 4 plus 10 gives me 6. 6 times negative 2 gives me a negative 12. Then I have 12 plus a negative 12 gives me 0. That we're going to see is a cool thing, and let me show you why. All right, now we're going to rewrite our coefficients. So we have 3, negative 5, and 6. Now we're reducing each one of the x's by a degree. So this first one went from x cubed to x squared. Second one, x squared to x, okay, x squared to x. Next one, x to just a constant. That's a positive 6. Okay, we're keeping the signs of this one at the bottom. We're not looking at the signs at the top, okay? And then we have plus 0. That 0 means there's no remainder, which is great. Okay, that means we're not going to have a fraction at the end. If you want, you could write plus 0 over x plus 2. That's technically what it means, but since it's 0, we can just get rid of it. So our answer, it goes in perfectly. 3x squared minus 5x plus 6, no remainder. So let's go ahead and write that. 3x squared minus 5x plus 6. And we're good to go. Okay, let's do a couple more. Maybe just do one more. I don't want this video to be too long. Again, with the purple. So we can look here. You'll probably see that we just have the box here, 5. 5 will make that bottom go to 0. X minus 5 equals 0. Add 5, we get 5. Okay? Now we're going to write, perfect problem to end on. So we have 2 for our first coefficient, 2. Then we have negative 11, negative 11. Now, look, there's no x term. We just skip right to the 25. So you have to have a placeholder. 2x cubed minus 11x squared. We need to write plus 0x plus 25. So we need to have that placeholder. We're going to put the 0 there and then 25. That's the most common mistake that I see with these problems, okay? So make sure you have this placeholder. I'm going to highlight it just to show that it's important right here. Have the placeholder. Okay, now we're good to go. Okay, I'll do it in green. Why not? I mean, just because. So we have, drop down the 2. Then we have 2 times 5 gives me 10. Write it there. We're going to add, and we get negative 1. Negative 11 plus 10, negative 1. Negative 1 times 5 gives me negative 5. 0 plus negative 5, I stay with the negative 5. Then I multiply that by 5, and I get negative 25. Oops. And then I do 25 plus negative 25, 0. This is great. That means I have no remainder again. That's what that means. Okay? This is a really good one. So we're going to have 2, whoops, meant the pen, 2, negative 1, and negative 5 as coefficients. We're going to reduce each one of these by a degree. So it becomes 2x squared instead of x cubed, minus 1x instead of x squared, and then minus 5 instead of that. See, we got to reference this guy. Instead of the x, we're going to put minus 5, and technically it's plus 0 over x minus 5, but again, we don't need it because it's 0. So our final answer is 2x squared, 2x squared, minus x, or minus 1x, minus x, and then minus 5. And there we go. Okay, I wanted to keep this video short. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like synthetic division. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more problems on synthetic division or anything else. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.